Is this question time?
You know what? Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it
Because
is.
my thing is, and I think it's important, and I've seen you guys pivot, but just for the audience, with being a choreographer, a lot of times you're, and I'm not one, but I will, is there a limit? You know what I mean? In terms of is it viability? Like in terms of your marketability, in terms of you like being out there or whatever, like, because, I don't know a lot of like, older dancers that artists are requesting, if you will. You know what I'm saying? I might see you in a commercial or something like that, but that's not, where you have based your career a lot on like road work, working with artists, things like that. Do you age out in a sense? And then what's that pivot, you know what I'm saying, for dancers? Like what, you do aerial, so that's a little bit different than dancing, but it's another avenue of creativity that you're using. I can see where that works, but for I'm a dancer, damn it. Yeah. What's next?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of dancers deal with that because there is kind of this underlying, like, a 30-year-old dancer is old, but then you have dancers that are still working and gigging because they look really young, but I think a lot of dancers, they have this formula of like, okay, well, now I'm in my 30s. Like, what does that mean for me? Am I a choreographer? And like,
or is it real estate?
You're not.
And that's a different thing. That's a different thing.
But they might go into choreography. They might go into real estate. They might, go into acting. I've seen a lot of dancers go into acting. I've seen a lot of dancers go into choreography that maybe like, you should try something else. Like maybe, just because you can dance doesn't mean you can choreograph. But oftentimes, if you haven't thought about what's next, you think, well, this is like just the natural progression of things. And then you're frustrated because your choreography maybe isn't up to par, or it doesn't compete well with what's young. So I think that a lot of times you have to be really focused on like, what is my actual plan and what's my passion outside of just dancing? Like, what do I really enjoy? And I think a lot of dancers, they find themselves in that pivot like moment, and I think they have to find it, like they have to just figure out what's next. A lot of them become agents, they become managers, they go into like the music space, and you'll see them doing like marketing for artists. They use their creativity in other areas. So there is something about aging out. I will forever be 25. So if there's a job out there, call me, I'll do it. No,
I started where people were. When I started, it was considered like, oh, you're like halfway into this thing.
Mind you, she was 25.
And I was like, y'all don't know what's going on over here.
Right.
But to her point, to Sakinah's point, for me, because I didn't learn dance, so choreography was never on my radar. It wasn't like, it's not that I can't do it, but it's not my passion. I'm not sitting here like, oh, the 8 counts, trying to figure it out. But I'm a performer, so I had to figure out which ways that pivot into. So aerial crossed my path, and that was a combination of the physicality and the dance. So that was kind of why but that wasn't anything I was looking for.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Ariel, she's actually in the Superfly movie.
Yeah.
In the stripping scene, she's like flying from the ceiling when he walks in the strip club.
Oh my God.
You can see. I didn't know she was in that movie, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, that's free.
Right.
That's fucking dope.
Right. Because of that, it also made me want to pivot into TV and film. So I've also I'm trying to do this thing where I create a lane, because I'm a dancer and I know what that is, but I'm also an aerialist, but I'm also a rigger. Like, I can also
you gotta
put the things up in the air.
I hope you would know how to do that.
Right.
Well, with that,
everybody don't.
You need to know if you're secure.
Everybody
or not.
don't. Yeah. And a lot of aerialists, which I don't recommend, but they rely on the riggers. So in a couple of different productions, I was like the liaison between the choreographer, the director, and the riggers to say, this is what's safe, this is what can happen, this is what time you have to get the shot, because they're in the air and there's a safety precaution.
I was able to hire her for the first time for a video that we did for Anne-Marie, and I was like, look, we want to do this like whole aerial thing, like we're gonna do lessons with her and all that. And so I'm like, can you come to LA with us to shoot this thing? And she's like, yes. And she's like, is there a rigger? I'm like, no, they're going to pay you to do all that shit.
Come on, production.
So, and we were
Come through.
able to we were able to finally work together in that space, which was really cool because I was like, oh shit, we're both getting a little choreography check. Okay. Okay, I'm choreo. But yeah,
But like to that
dope.
point, just because you're an aerialist doesn't mean that you can communicate like that.
Right.
Because
That's true.
you know, an aerialist could be like, well, I know how to do it, but you don't know how to tell somebody else what it
how to
looks
do it.
like,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
how to
yeah,
do it
yeah,
to make it
absolutely.
look like someone who's never done it.
Absolutely.
Look like they know what they're doing, or telling a director that no, they can't do that because you're not going to get the shot you think you're going to get.
Right.
Because of what you know.
Or like they
what's-
need to come down, they're tired.
Yeah.
Like that's a big one.
Or
Like,
telling
because
them-
they think like, oh, let's just do it again. Let's just do it again. Like one more
No.
time.
Oh
And it's
my
like,
God.
Not in a sequence jumpsuit on a
Yeah.
metal hoop.
yeah. Yeah.
Her ass hurts.
The crack, the actual crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that. So, you know, those type of things are lanes that people don't know they need until you come in there and do it and be like, man, where were you all my life?
Yeah.
Where have you been all my life?
Gotcha.